One. Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Get Busy with Kit and Jim. This week it really is Get Busy with Kit and Jim, unlike last week where Dennis coined the phrase Get Busy without Kit and Jim. We're back in full force. We're missing a few of our dream teamers, but we are ready to hit it. We're going to have so much fun. And I have to shout out right away to Carmen. Right out the gate, she says, this promises to be one sublime event. I've been waiting all week. Let the show begin. Big hugs to everyone, and hoping that it envelops the globe. And that is our goal, as always, to spread the Get Busy love all across the world. We're super excited once again. We are going global because our guest this week, Alois Bělaška, I hope I pronounced that correctly, is with us here today, and we're super excited to have him here so we can talk about Friends+Me and a whole lot more. So, Alois, without any further ado, I'd like to introduce you and have you say a few words about yourself, please.
Well, I'm from Czech Republic. I work as a developer in my own company, where I'm currently working on a service called Friends+Me. It's a social media tool that helps people to share from Google Plus to other networks and to save a huge amount of time and nerves, of course. And that's about it. I'm living quite a simple life here in Czech Republic. It's in the middle of Europe, and
Hey,
my life right now.
Jim, you muted.
Muted.
Jim, you muted.
Okay, sorry, I thought I unmuted. Okay. Hey, Alois, so I'm curious, we haven't had a guest yet from the Czech Republic, so before we get into Friends+Me, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about what life was like growing up in the Czech Republic. So what were some of your influences as you were growing up in the Czech Republic, and what was it like growing up in your country?
Well, it was almost like a fairy tale. Life was very, very slow back then. There were no computers, almost no television, because TV programs were sucked a lot, and there was nothing to watch. So we were most of the time outside and hunting animals and trying to put woods into fire, and it was crazy childhood, but it was awesome. Then I got my first computer about when I was maybe 12, and life turned a lot. Because I've closed myself at home with books and computer. I was learning how to code, how to program, how to do things, how to automate, and I kind of forgot how to talk to people. It was great because nobody disturbing me. I lived in my own head world, and it was great. But then school was tough sometimes, but nice in a way. Where I've met a big influencer and a teacher of mine who teach me a lot about computers, and he teach me about programming and how to do it right, and he influenced my entire life from that point. It was all about computers, and so it took me where I am right now. I'm a solopreneur, and I'm creating my own service. I'm working on my own life. I'm trying to live my own life, not and my way. I'm not waiting for somebody to tell me how to live, what to do, what's wrong, what's right. I have to figure it all out on my own. So it's exciting time. So many bumps, bruises, but I love it. cannot change it. I wouldn't change it for anything.
I know. I'm in the same boat now that I've become a solopreneur and kind of the master of my own destiny. It's so much better than living in the corporate world. So I want to just take you back a little bit more back to the Czech Republic. So
Before that, Jim, just one comment. I think people are having slight trouble hearing you, Alois. So can you just speak loudly into the mic? That's what they're saying. Here, I see Cheryl's comment here.
Oh, okay, sure. So, anyways, Alois, I would like to know: is there something about living in the Czech Republic that would surprise a lot of people in our audience who aren't familiar with the country? Is it?
Well, Czech Republic is not very populated, so there are still beautiful parts, green, without people, without smog and noises and cars and towns. It's beautiful nature in here, so anybody who visits can go out for very long walks and breathe fresh air. It's good. We have a beautiful countryside. Sure, I wouldn't change it.
Oh, that's awesome. And what would you say were, as you were growing up, what were some of your major influences that impacted you as you were growing up and have made you who you are today?
Well, there are times when bad things happen to family and stuff. So those times one realized that there's more than just work, money, and to have possessions, to think about how to achieve, how to buy a new car or house or something, all those stupid standard things that influenced me a lot. So I started to think much more outside of the box and not to think too much about things and more think about thoughts. To live a bit life without material things. So those hard times usually can change people. And I'm no exception.
Yeah, that's very good. You know what? There are things that happen in our lives that kind of put things into perspective. One of the reasons why I was not here last week was my mom was in the hospital. She was diagnosed with pneumonia. And, when you go through that, she's better now. She was actually released from the hospital. But she went into the hospital, went into ICU. And, it was scary. I had never in my life seen somebody intubated, with a breathing tube. And that was the first image that I had when I went into the hospital. There were tubes everywhere, or, there were devices everywhere. There were things beeping. My mom had a tube, and she looked, really afraid, and I'd never seen her like that before. And it just gives you perspective. I guess the one really good thing that came out of it was the next day after they had taken the tube out. The very next day, she was like, "Oh, I don't remember any of that," because she was somewhat sedated. So at least she has no memory of that horrible experience, which is good. But I mean, all of that puts things, really into perspective for you. Like, what is it? Why are we here? What is it that we really need to achieve? So that's awesome.
Life can be very, very hard, but it's what life is about. It's not supposed to be easy. Because if it's too easy,
It's boring.
It's not challenging. Nothing is challenging you, and you will die as you lived. So you're born, you live the standard life, nothing happens, and then you die. And what's left after? Nothing. So those tough challenges are very, very, very important in life. It's what makes us.
Right. So I believe in our conversation yesterday, Alois, you have a young one, right? You have a young one
Yeah,
in your life now?
Little daughter, 1.5 year. So it's a little, quick think.
So that's a challenge every day, right?
Absolutely. It's one of the biggest challenges I've ever met.
That's great. Hey, Kit and Kristen, I don't know if you're back yet, Kristen, but hey, Kit, you want to jump in with some questions?
No, I mean, I would like to hear, because to come back to Friends+Me, I have not really used the platform, so I'm a dummy. So if you could just, maybe give...
quickly.
Yeah, because if you could just maybe give a brief introduction into, I really love the way you explained how you got into Friends+Me during the prep show. So if you could just present that to the audience, I think we'll have a good laugh and learn a lot.
Okay, so it started as a project that came out of my own laziness, because I'm lazy, and I didn't want to copy paste all my stuff I posted everywhere. So I created this little thing that from the beginning I reposted only to Facebook and Twitter from Google Plus, and then I published it to all other people, and they said, hey, why can you please do this and implement this and change this, and can you do this, that, blah blah. So I was adding one feature after another, and it had grown to such a big service as it is now, with 23,000 users and almost 900 customers. And it's a real challenge to do something big like this, because I've never done this before, and I learn every day. I learn something new, mostly about how to calm myself and not explode because of some weird request. But it's really yeah. It's really challenging, but I like it. And so
I don't look at it as laziness per se. I think it's more like you want to make, people's lives more efficient, because would you rather spend all your time posting, individually in all the networks? So would you rather spend that time creating quality content that you can then share with your audience? So I think it's, so I'm really glad you were lazy, because that really led to a really good tool. Life's most beautiful surprises are always, quite unexpected, and they have very interesting origins, how you get into something. So I totally enjoyed that. But I think, Jim, I think we're having some problems with the volume for Alois, because I'm getting lots of comments. Just like to highlight that a little bit. Can you go into the master control and increase the volume?
You know what? I'm not sure how I can do that, because they can hear the rest of us. They just can't hear him. But it's weird, because I'm hearing him fine.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure what to do to remedy that.
Is it better?
Oh yeah.
Yes, that's a lot better.
Yep.
Hopefully it's a lot better. Thank you.
All those settings, it's driving me crazy.
But you did it, so that's great. So thank you, Dream Audience.
So no echo, and you're hearing me just fine, okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect. Sorry about that, everybody.
No worries. Hey, we're all about the hot mess. We live for the hot mess. There has to be at least one hot mess going on per episode, or we just haven't succeeded at all. So this was our first. Maybe we collect a few more, and it's just a part of the show. Thank you, Mia Voss, for coining that hot mess for us, because that's what we do.
That's what it's all about.
Yes, that's what it's all about. Hey, Kristen.
Hey there.
Hey.
Good to see you this morning, bright, smiling. Hey, so you've actually you're the one of us amongst the panel who's actually used Friends+Me. So can you say a few awesome words about it, and maybe you have a couple of questions for Alois?
Oh, I don't think I could say enough.
Oh.
Yesterday was just like such a treat getting to meet Alois. And it was the first time that I knew that it was all you. Every time I ping, Friends+Me is so great in every conversation all around G+. Or so now I know that I've always been bugging you, and that's fun.
That's
yeah. He's like, oh, Friends+Me, and then when you got on here, you were like, oh yes, I know you.
Oh yeah.
He was like, you know what? I have a special red button for anytime, like the red phone or what is it, the hotline. Anytime that Kristen buzzes in, I know who it is.
Hey, we have a
She's the girl that's everywhere, in every comment, in every thread.
Yeah, I wonder if she's cloned herself because I have no idea how she's everywhere. I totally admire you, Kristen.
Thank you. It's Friends+Me. It really is.
This is a really good question that I wanted to ask Alois too, but I wanted to save it for the show, so I didn't ask you yesterday. But there are two differing responses I've seen over the years in terms of posting from one platform to many. How would each of you respond to this? Is this ability a hindrance in any way to our social marketing networks? That is a wonderful question because that is one of my, I wouldn't say issues, but I'm kind of a little wary of sharing the same post on every network because it could be seen as spamming, because every network has its own native language, and you're most effective when you speak in that native language because how you talk on Twitter is different from Facebook, from Google Plus to even Pinterest or whatever. So how do you deal with such I mean, I wouldn't say criticisms, but such questions that arise around how is it really? Are you how do you make the experience unique for each network while also simplifying the experience so people can save time?
Well, it's very challenging this thing because I think it's everybody's choice. If they want to concentrate on one message only, what do they want to tell to other people? It's not about social networks. If it's for LinkedIn, Twitter, or Facebook, it's about the message. What do you want to tell them? If all you can do more is to create some image to make it more understandable to everybody. But I don't think it's appropriate to customize one message for every single social network. It's impossible work. So I don't care very much about those comments because there are people who hate cross-posting, who hate broadcasting the same message to every network, and it's their own choice. They don't have to use Friends+Me. It's obviously not for them, so I pass it through.
Hey, Alois, I have kind of a workaround. I think for the majority of your posts, you can use something like Friends+Me, and then just occasionally go on to the individual networks and do some, I don't know, be creative and be out of the box and do the posts that are appropriate for those different networks. So I actually, honestly, I think you can have the best of both worlds because you do need to be more efficient. There are more platforms than ever that you've got to stay on top of. And I think what you've come up with is a great way to do that, and then you can just augment it occasionally. Like I said, have the best of both worlds and augment it occasionally with posts that are individualized.
Yeah, I believe it's all about engagement. You want to spread your message and you want to engage your followers. So it's all about engaging with people. It's talking to them. It's replying to their comments, and that's, by my opinion, 90% of all work. And the rest, the spreading of the message you want to spread, is just a small, very small part. You have to talk to people, to reply, comment, and engage with them. That's what the social media is all about. And people are still forgetting about it, and they're talking about tools and metrics and likes and how many followers. it doesn't matter. It's all about people, 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 people. Nothing more, nothing less.
Oh, I love that. And I think also maybe one thing you could do is if you are automating your messages, try to at least make it manageable so you can track your conversations. Say, automate maybe 3 messages a day or 4 messages a day, and you've automated it. So go back and talk to people who have responded to your comments. So don't just automate and forget about them. Automate and, like you said, engage and converse with them, because there's the founder of, I think, Bundle Post, Robert Caruso. He had a good article that he posted on Facebook yesterday, and he talked about the one tip that you need to use to improve your social media experience is to engage in real time with your followers. So that is the most important thing. It's not that you're automating. I think it's that you're automating but still engaging. So the person who can do both of those and balance that, I think they are the ones who really win in the long term, because you cannot be everywhere. I mean, I find it so hard to stay on 2 networks a day. I mean, I use Google Plus and Facebook mostly, and I find it so hard to be here and be there. So if you want to be everywhere, it's just going to suck a lot of time, and you're not going to, really find any time to create content, to engage with your followers. So yes, I completely agree. I mean, I think
clapping. Woo! Yeah, amen.
The sound effects. I don't know how to do that. but Christine, thank you so much for that question.
It's all about the message and following up, and that's why I have no problem using Friends+Me, because not only does Friends+Me make it, I don't know how you guys, a way of making it look different from one to the other, and I think that's just amazing for one thing. But I also don't make it a secret that Google Plus is my home. Google Plus is my home, and what I post about is about Google Plus, or my kids. I don't think I really have any other subject other than HOAs, Google Plus, maybe Android occasionally. I like to say things like dissing Apple. That's fun. That's my little chocolate for the week. But yeah, so my message is okay to do that, because if people want to know on other networks what I'm doing, is Google Plus. That is what I'm doing. But also, I'm so glad you brought up Bundle Posts, because I was like on the edge of my seat wanting to say something. So thank you. Yeah, that is the whole thing. Is if you have your message, you put it out there, you are giving yourself more time to do the important thing, and that's talk to your people that are getting your message, that are receiving that. That's what you want to be spending your time doing. And if you yeah, so if you want to just if you want to find content relevant that isn't yours and you're sharing it from someone else, I think that's okay too. Bundle Post is big on that. I would like to see something like that maybe work into Friends+Me, where we're doing that like in the future. I mean, that might be like a way. No, what do you think about that? Working in.
Sorry, I didn't get your.
Like, so if like you're going into like maybe say like an R feed, like say you're doing like Google Alerts for a certain, you put in a certain term, like a keyword, and you want to know things that have to do with social media. Anyone that's like in your circles or whatever that has that key term in it, and you can send your RSS feed into another feed, and then to go out to your readers as something that you're sharing.
I'm sorry, I have sound is sometimes disappearing. I have not heard all.
Okay. Well, that's all right.
No, I think what you're saying is that how do you like on Bundle Post you're able to. I think I've looked at Bundle Post just once, but where you can curate content and then schedule it, right, using hashtags or something like that. So yeah. So I mean, curated content, I think that's fine. I mean, if you want to share somebody else's post across various networks, that's fine, because that's not really your content. You're more or less just spreading someone else's message. But I think I love the way Christine puts it here. She says, I don't automate, here, this is the comment, I don't automate, I share real time and use Friends+Me to streamline my time. I like the way she put that. So it's not about being a robot, it's just about being efficient.
Exactly. Also, it's very important to understand why are we on social networks? What are we trying to achieve? What are we trying to say? Who are we trying to reach? And what is it all about? We're trying to live in a real world, and then we are still in this social media world. And what is it all about? Why?
Yeah, and I think it also depends on, what is your goal? Like Kristen, she is a Google Plus gal, so this is her home, like she said. So for her, it's okay if she spreads the same message onto Facebook or Twitter without really tweaking it as much. But if you're a Twitter person or you're a Facebook person or you're a Pinterest person or whatever, so it's important that you understand what is your goal when you're using social media. Which network do you really want to make your primary network, and which networks you want to make as your secondary networks, and you kind of adjust your strategy accordingly. So if you are a Twitter person and you keep automating from Google Plus, maybe your followers may not like it because they expect something more original from you. So I think it's also a lot to do with, what is your goal on social media? What do you want to do? Because every person has different needs. And, for me personally, like I much prefer like an integrated social media presence. I'm not trying to be a pro of any social media network. I kind of just enjoy all of them. So for me, like Friends+Me and Bundle Post and all these automation networks do make kind of sense because I am everywhere. So I do monitor my conversations. So, but if you're not somebody who uses other networks a lot, then you got to be slightly more careful about how you are really going to phase that whole thing out, because you do not want to turn off people. You do not want to just make it seem like it's your duty to interact. You have to really put your heart and soul into what you're doing, and that's when your followers really kind of truly resonate with you and they engage with you. Because it's very easy to figure out whether you're just being fake or you're being genuine. I mean, because if you're consistently, genuine, like Kristen is on Google Plus, that she really loves this platform. She's not faking it. You cannot fake something like that for a long period of time, So it's again, I think it all comes back to what is your goal. That's my 2 cents. Well, my 10 cents.
Hey, Alois, what are some of the most popular features on Friends+Me?
The most popular feature is that you publish once and Friends+Me does the rest for you. It's the most popular feature. It's the core functionality. What is it all about? And then, of course, some people hate it, some people find it difficult to use, but you can control destination of reposts by hashtags. So you can, if you are a brand owner or something like that, you create your own control hashtag and assign destination networks where you want to Friends+Me repost, where you want Friends+Me to repost your posts, if you include this hashtag in your Google Plus post. So for example, if you're Nike, you create a custom hashtag Nike, and you want, in case you use hashtag Nike, you want to repost it to Facebook and Twitter only, in case you have, for example, more accounts. So this way you can tell where you want to spread your message exactly. And the message, of course, looks very native because nobody knows that there's such a functionality behind the Nike hashtag.
Right. And what are some of the most what are some of the most requested features?
The most requested feature is reposting to Pinterest and Instagram maybe, and of course posting of private messages, but there's no point in posting private messages.
Yeah, that did confuse me. Why? I mean, maybe I didn't understand the user request, but I don't understand why you would want to publish a private post. don't know if I misunderstood, but yeah, I think Pinterest and Instagram are going to be quite a challenge because they're visually driven networks. So it's going to be interesting to see how Friends+Me collaborates, because Google Plus and Pinterest, I mean, I've noticed that most people who like Google Plus seem to love Pinterest too, so they seem to go hand in hand. So it'll be interesting to see how you
it will be
connect
joined,
the two.
but it's a very popular combination here on Google Plus. Maybe I will just repost only photo posts, so we'll see how it goes. But it will be definitely a challenge.
Kristen says that my favorite Friends+Me feature is controlling platform destinations via hashtag controls.
You get a plus 100 on that one.
Yeah. That's one of those users who got it right.
Hey, I want to ask our dream audience, are there any questions that you have for Alois while we have him here and while we have you there? So if you can think of any questions that you'd like to ask him, please let us know, and we'd be happy to be the conduit, right?
Bring it on.
I'm trying to pull up some of the comments, and it's not pulling up, but Kevin Burns is asking about, what about LinkedIn?
LinkedIn.
I know that.
Yeah, we support LinkedIn, but repost with more than one line looks very bad out there because their website is really and they don't show new lines in posts, so it looks like just a chunk of letters and it doesn't make any sense. So I plan to improve it to make it work like for Twitter, that where only the first line of Google Plus post is reposted. So it will look much better.
Yeah, LinkedIn is a definite challenge.
Yeah.
They don't like automation. I've noticed that. Even I've used Sprout Social. I've used it just doesn't work out. But Kristen has a couple of fans out here. We have our favorite Christopher, who says, "I'm ready to use the Friends Plus Kristen app. It's the liveliest of all apps for social sharing." And you have Amon Jones, who agrees and says, "A most recommended way to spread your message is to befriend her," and she rallies everybody. So find a way to include her, Alois.
Hey, Kit, we were smart. We brought her onto our team, so we got the best of all worlds.
Oh, Kit was really smart. She had a really good post. It was the very first one that I ever shared, that I ever reshared on Google Plus. So she was a smart one. Yeah, you had a post, and I just thought it was so cool. That's how I got to know you.
But yeah, and there's another comment that I really wanted to highlight. It's from Vivekananda. He says, "If you care about the audience on a specific platform, don't automate it. Automate on other platforms, and you point people at a platform where you're more active." That's exactly what I'm saying. So you know which platform is yours, and don't automate that, and control your automation with the other networks. Like personally, I treat Facebook and Google Plus. I love both of them. So like this morning, I made a post on Google Plus that I also made on Facebook, but I kind of rewrote the post twice because I wanted to present it differently. So for me, I take the time out not to automate on either of these two platforms because they are my two main homes, if you will. So yeah, I completely agree with him. Do not automate where you want your audience is, because that's, they may not like it.
Hey, we have, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to pronounce her name, so forgive me if I blow it, but
Vivekananda.
Kananda, okay.
Yes.
I'm just getting into Friends+Me. Are there any video tutorials as how to use the platform?
Ooh, no. I've been so busy, and so I've not created a single video tutorial yet.
Well, you know who's great at something like that? Fiverr is awesome. So if you ever need to delegate the work and have somebody else do it, Fiverr would be one consideration.
Please give me contact, because that's something I miss much, and more than just me.
I have to give a shout out to one of my team. Very, very talented at video production too. So I'll try to see if I can hook you guys up.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Because I almost made it myself, but it would look bad. I'm not a designer or something like that. I can even speak publicly, so it would be better to delegate it to somebody who is more capable in such things. Definitely.
Mark is awesome too because he can't help but be a teacher. He is a very, very caring person and very patient, and you'll learn some things too working with him.
Perfect.
Love you, Mark.
I will.
Hey, so we touched on a couple of things, but what are some other areas, what are some other ways that people really get it wrong on social media? Regardless of whether they're using your Friends+Me, what are some things that people do, you know, especially entrepreneurs, what are some things that they're doing that are really getting it wrong on social media? You guys,
They are targeting. They are trying to target everyone, and that's not possible. So many people, so many thoughts, so many segments of people fighting with each other, and this is A is right, B is right, no, C is right. It's not possible to target everyone. One have to pick some niche or some group of people of same thinking, or or of need you're trying to solve and address them directly, because otherwise it's wasted time. My experience. Oh, maybe somebody have
Yes, that is
something else.
true. Yeah, I think when you try to please everybody, you please nobody. Because I mean, because today there's an explosion of experts or gurus, whatever you want to call them, you know, and everybody has their own set of audience who looks up to them and respects them. So I think it's important that you be there for those who are loyal to you, and you know, it's impossible to really be liked by everybody. It's impossible to please everybody, you know, and that's fine. That's I think that's just human. So I think when you get that into your head that, hey, you know, I want to be loved by everybody, and so let me just throw this generic post that offers value to nobody, it's only going to backfire. So I completely agree with that.
I think another thing is with entrepreneurs, they focus too much on pitching and not enough on engaging, right? I think it's real important as an entrepreneur who's trying to grow your business. People are just so literally over being pitched to, and they want to engage with you. They want to find out who you are, what you're about. They want to see if they like, know, and trust you, because people, I mean, it's a cliche, but people do business with people whom they like, know, and trust. So in order to do that, stop pitching and start engaging. That's me on my soapbox.
Yeah. Also, I can recommend read less, do more, because I have my Feedly reader is full of articles, and once a month I delete almost all of them because it's so time consuming. Every day I read about how to do stuff A differently, and brain is full of thoughts, and it it can really be bad to decide then what to do, because you you have so many ways to do stuff. So
Yeah, I think
read less,
it's
do more.
overwhelming.
Definitely.
You have a suggestion here, which I think is a really good suggestion, a dedicated Hangout sharing aspect allowing us to promote Hangouts across many platforms. So that's something that Google Clusters would love.
Sounds interesting. Yeah. There's service called +My Reach, and they are trying to do some Hangout analytics, and so maybe it may be the right feature for them. +myreach.com. They're trying to
Oh,
make
is that the tool that is like an analytics tool for Hangouts?
Yes.
Plus my reach. Okay.
Yeah.
I always think.
I'm sorry, Kristen, you broke out.
Can you hear me better now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I think it's Michael Mason that does the Plus My Reach.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Oh, I like this quote, this comment. I'm loving the comments today. Again, Vivekananda says, as Guy Kawasaki says, don't be afraid to be a polarizing force. When someone hates you for what you do with all the passion, you will have someone else who loves you with equal or even more passion. When you try to appeal to everyone, you appeal to no one. Amen.
Amen to that, yeah. That's exactly what it's all about.
Yes, I read this blog post. God, I cannot remember. He's a very active Google Pluser, and I love his blog. I cannot remember his name right now, but I'll figure it out. But he said something like, I always love to, rankle people. I love to get them stirred up. I hate to say the safe thing. I hate to say the comfortable thing. I always try to say something that will polarize my audience, because only then will I know who's really tuned into my voice, and that's the audience that I want to talk to. So I think that was a fantastic point.
Sounds a little bit like Lance to me.
Lance Fields?
Mm-hmm. It just seems like like how he is. Very authentic.
Yes, he is. He's amazing.
So, next question.
Right. So Aman John says to expand, it could include both the YouTube and the event link and the title, then auto format specifically to each platform for the best display, because then you know exactly what's going in.
Yes.
It's definitely, if you can do that, it'd be a beautiful feature that will really kind of expand the reach of Hangouts for sure. Yes. Thank you, Aman.
I definitely plan to improve reposts, formatting of event reposts. Because that's something I need to improve. I plan to improve it. It's improvement number 1955. Jesus, so much to do. Oh, I wish I have 10 hands and 5 heads.
So are you the only employee of your company, or do you have
Yes.
people work with you? Okay.
Yes. Right now it's just me. It can be crazy from time to time, but it's the path I've chosen, so be it.
Well, that should be the attitude anyway. Laura Williams has a question. She says, what is the biggest difference between Hootsuite and Friends+Me?
Hootsuite is a very, very big beast that can do almost everything and nothing. Because one have to learn half a year to learn all the features that are there. So Friends+Me is very, very simple. It's just sign up, connect your accounts, and publish. That's all. Very, very simple.
I'm not sure, does Hootsuite have a way to automate your post to Google Plus from other networks?
I think they allow to schedule posts for Google Plus pages as Friends+Me.
Okay. But I think what really differentiates your tool is that you start off from Google Plus, so that is kind of your hub. So it is. It's almost like the go-to tool for Google Plusers. Who.
To use Friends+Me it's much easier in a way that you don't have to think too much about other networks. You just concentrate on Google Plus, do one thing. You're focusing simply on creating content on Google Plus, and that's it. Because Google Plus posts are very formatting is very rich. You can use bold, italic, and so multi-lines. So you can create a title, create a content, highlight some parts of your post, and other networks are very, very poor at that. Twitter, 440 characters. What? Facebook is just a bunch of text and maybe a picture. So Google Plus is the winner here. It looks much more really like microblogging platform, fully featured. Microblogging platform. It's not comparable. It's like apples.
I know that Friends+Me has you very busy right now, but are there plans to start developing other programs? Have you thought about expanding the brand and some other things that you can do?
Every single day.
Every
Not
single
a
day.
problem. It's not a problem to have a thought, to think about something new, but it's problem to say no to new ideas. And so I plan to move Friends+Me to a level where it can be a fully featured social media assistant. It will assist you. It's just you will create your message, your content, publish it, and Friends+Me will help you to spread it to the right people, to the right followers, to segment your followers, to tell you where to send it, how, maybe even what to send such a group to groups of your followers. It's like I want to make it like a real assistant who will help you. You'll tell him what to do and he'll do it. But with only the difference that you'll create the content and Friends+Me will do the rest for you. So it will spread your message, it will aggregate all replies and try to get, how to tell it, try to aggregate all the replies and engagement, made a center point where you will go to know what's going on.
Yeah, you know what? I think that's key, Alois, because what you're foreseeing in the future, this particular platform, is to use it to really increase engagement, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we have. Oh, interesting question. Okay, so is there a plan to add WordPress plugin to publish posts to Friends+Me, or do you have one already?
It crossed my mind. I plan to create a public API. This way you'll be able to create your own services and programs that will communicate with Friends+Me. So you'll be able, for example, to schedule posts and so on. So WordPress plugin is definitely a possible future. I believe so. I believe I will get there. Maybe we will get there when there will be more of us.
No, I think you're already.
I'm going to clone myself.
No, I think you're already listening to your audience and taking their suggestions and recommendations and having a plan for the future. So I think you are on the right track. It's just you're a one-man show and it'll take time. I mean, what you're doing is commendable. So just stay on your track, and I know you'll get there.
Definitely.
Hey,
I think it's big advantage for my users is they talk directly to men who can actually do something about their thoughts and their requests. I'm not like some huge company where you have to hit first level of support, second level, third level, and it will never get to the developer. So that's what I can offer to my customers.
Yeah, that's awesome. As an entrepreneur, it is really super important that you listen to your customers. We may not always be able to do exactly what they want us to do, right? But it's important that we at least listen and do our best to make that happen. So we have an interesting question from Christopher Vogelman. Again, I hope I pronounced it right. So must one pare down one's social networks to 3 or 4, or can you operate via automation via multiple social personality disorder? I love it. Hashtag. This is a good one. We need to hashtag this. Multiple social personalities disorder.
Yeah,
I love it.
If Rhonda Green is a hashtag queen, Christopher is a hashtag king.
Yeah.
This guy can make you laugh like no one else.
Oh, yeah, he's got really good. I think someone said, I think Maggie gave him the hashtag Jedi Master. Hashtag awesome.
But that's a good question. You know, what do you all think? I mean, I personally think yes. I mean, I would go. I mean, I'm a huge fan of all the 4 networks, so I'm everywhere. But I do have to when I launch my new website and everything, I have to pick 2 networks that I really will focus on and dial in and concentrate on those networks because I mean, if you're spread too thin, then I think you're not able to really give you 100% to anything, and it's just going to come off as half-hearted, which you don't want to be. So I think you should choose your top 3 networks, and then use such tools to still remain engaged with your audience on your secondary networks. What do you all think?
Yeah, I think so too. I agree. I think it all comes back to what Alois was saying. It's about your message. What is your message? Is not the point to be everywhere. The point is to have a good message. Let content be king. I know it's trite, but still, it has value. What social media, I think, is for, I mean, unless you're like rich and you're Paris Hilton or something and you don't have to work. But if you do need to bring money into the home and you need shoes for your children or whatever, or maybe you're taking care of a sick parent, it's about making a living, and we're fortunate a fun way to do it, and a real way, a nice way to relate to people. You have a team of people working for you that can go into those other platforms, like VAs, then yeah, you definitely need to focus on, I think, even 1 or 2.
Yeah. What do you think, Alois?
I couldn't agree more. Kristen said it all. It's all out.
I'm just learning from everybody. I just spit it out. That's all I do.
Okay. So you know what? We're getting close to the end of time. Oh, boy, here's another comment. So Laura says, Alois, that's a great thing. You're a one-man show and you can handle your customers personally. There's a lot to be said for that. I was just on your website and I'm interested. Friends+Me looks very cool and effective. You know what, Lori, I second that because as I'm becoming more and more busy and have less and less time to focus on social media, I do need to get my message out on Twitter. I'm doing okay on Facebook. Probably need to do a little bit more with LinkedIn and maybe one other platform. And I think the best way for me to do that is to learn Friends+Me and just bite the bullet and do it and get shoot like 5 birds with 1 bullet or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. All you have to do is to learn how to use Google+, which you obviously do, and that's all.
Yeah, and like Kristen, my main focus is Google+. Like I put almost all of my energy into Google+. I put second energy into Facebook by arm twisting because now I've developed a lot of close friends over there who just aren't really into Google+ and aren't going to come over here. So that's where those 2 platforms are where I'm, expending most of my energy. But like I said, I need to be visible on a few others as well because I do have followers on Twitter. I'm just not doing anything, and for some reason, the last maybe month, a ton of people have been connecting with me on LinkedIn. And so because I have so many connections over there, I need to take advantage of that as well, right?
Yeah, hey, what do you guys think about the move that they're making to make everyone a publisher? I thought it was pretty cool when they had, when you had to like work up to it. And I think that, and this is just my personal thought, that I worry about it taking away like trust. Like the whole reason why Google has their setup is so that the more trusted sites can be brought up to the top when you go in and do a search. And that's part of the reason why I love Google, because I feel like they do a lot of the work for me. I don't have to go and decide if something's like bollocks or whatever. And then with LinkedIn, if everybody is a publisher, who am I going to trust? Like right now, I know I can go in there and I know Mark Traphagen is, he is an authority over there, and I know I can trust his work.
That does make a lot of sense, but I also think that if I actually didn't know that they're making the move to making everybody a publisher, but I think in a way it does give you people who are not as popular or influential to maybe start making a mark, because that is kind of always, that's like a burning question that I've asked a lot of people, is how do novice bloggers and people who are just starting out in the industry, how do you make a mark in the saturated world if only the influencers, and I don't like that word, I'm sorry, but if only the big people, the more popular established professionals, I'll put it that way, the more established reputable professionals are the only ones that are heard, then what about people who do have something nice to say in their own unique voice, but they're just not there yet? So I think I'm kind of double-minded about LinkedIn's move, because I think in a way it does give people the opportunity to spotlight their content, even if they're not really influential publishers on LinkedIn. So I think that is a good thing, but also the downside is it might lead to a lot of mediocre content, people who are just trying to throw things out to make a mark. So I think ultimately they have to find a way to still root out the best, maybe have a voting system or something, to maybe like Reddit does, to kind of spotlight the content that people seem to like. So that way, people can still post their content and the best content will still be spotlighted. So I think they should find a way to still add credibility while providing an opportunity for more people to become publishers.
Hey, well, my dig at that is, if everyone's a publisher, then nobody's a publisher.
Right.
I don't understand how you can make everybody a publisher, because then nobody is. I mean, then it's just you're posting on LinkedIn.
Yeah, it's just.
Yeah, we got to wait and watch how that goes for LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is supposedly a professional website with I don't even think of it as a social website. I think of it as a purely networking website. So far, but that's because I've not used LinkedIn very much, so I cannot really speak for it. But it seems to me it's like the stern father-in-law that you have to tame. So I'm pretty intimidated by LinkedIn, But yeah, so I think it's just an interesting move. We should see how it works out for them, whether it's going to hurt their brand image by bringing down the quality of posts, or is it going to create a more level playing field so more people can come to the forefront. So,
I like that point that you make, though. Yeah. So it's like they need to find a happy medium. What do you think, Alois?
Yeah, it's hard to tell how it will end, because they're trying to do to see what happens. So
I think also, yeah, I mean, every platform is trying to be more user-friendly. They're trying. It's trial and error for everybody. Some things work, some things don't. So, I mean, if you talk to somebody who uses LinkedIn a lot, they might have a different opinion about.
I think in case of LinkedIn, it's more like a technical solution to their problem, because they already have somebody can be author, and now they just turn it on for everybody. They're trying to see how it will go. So it's very easy for them.
Yeah, I guess what my point is. Well, now it's nothing special, so you're just posting on LinkedIn. I mean,
Right.
I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, if you have special delineations of things, and you say, okay, well now everyone's a publisher. Well, then what's the point? Then you're just posting on LinkedIn. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't make sense to even have that.
It just becomes another social network.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
If we had more time, I would totally bring up Foursquare because I think they're doing some things wrong too with their move to Swarm, but we don't have the time.
Yeah. We'll
I've
talk
not
about
used
that
Foursquare.
another time. So let's close out. I want to give everyone, I'll give Alois the last word, so I want to give Kristen and then Kit just some final words on today's episodes or today's episode and your thoughts on Friends+Me. So we'll start with Kristen.
Okay. I love you, Alois. Thank you so much for coming with us, and I'm just so excited that we're going to be going forward together and collaborating, and I've already loved you, and I just didn't know it was you that I was loving.
Thank
Go
you.
for it. Everybody go sign up.
Kit?
I think this has been such a great show. I mean, I think Get Busy, our vision is to connect you all, our dream audience, with real people who are doing some really fantastic things. And Alois, you're such an inspiration, you know, being a one-man show, taking on such a big project. I mean, that's amazing. I should learn some time management skills from you because I never get anything done. So I'm always busy but never productive.
I'm just working.
But really, yeah, so my call to action would be go check out Friends+Me for sure. And, you know, whatever you do, embrace your imperfections, have fun, you know, make mistakes, have fun making mistakes, learn from your mistakes, you know, connect with people you truly care about. And, you know, just as one, we're going to rise together, right? So collaboration is the name of the game. So it's going to be fun.
Most important thing, go out, take your kids on a walk, go into the woods, turn off your computers, live
Yes.
real life.
We need a sound effect for that.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me go. Shoot. Okay. Well, never mind.
Too late, honey.
Point is lost. No, I think that's a perfect point because why are we here? We're here to live a life, and
Yes.
if it's all 100% on social media, then you know what the heck are we doing? So, great point to close us out. So next week, speaking of living a life, I'm pretty sure, I didn't check the calendar, but I'm pretty sure next week Angela Daffron is coming back. She's going to bring another one of her soul models with her, and it's going to be a show not to forget. I mean, if you remember the last time, it was pretty amazing. And the soul model that she's bringing, I can't remember his name, but I believe he's 82 years old, and he's been really effective in helping kids get off drugs, right? So, and explaining kids not just say no, but really telling them from a personal perspective why, you know, drugs are so dangerous. And he was actually a drug addict for many, many years. And so the message that he brings to the schools and to kids in school really, really resonates with the kids, and the kids love him because he's not just telling them not to do something, but he's lived the experience, and he can tell them from his life experiences what the impact can be on them. So he's coming on our show next week with Angela. It's going to be another super amazing show, and we've got great stuff. We're already booked through June into July. So we have lots of great upcoming shows. Yeah, and that's it. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you again next Tuesday. Thank you so much for engaging with us. It makes the show awesome. And we took it in with Carmen. We'll go out with Carmen. Live life to the fullest. Absolutely. Hashtag live life to the fullest. Another great episode. See you guys all back here next week. Take care.
Thank you all.